In Florissant, it's 35 in St. Peters and 34 downtown at the Arch. Weather sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company, pennmutual.com/STL. At Penn Mutual, they believe that life insurance is the central part of a sound financial plan and that it can make an enduring impact for generations to come. Talk to your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Penn Mutual, trusted for life. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Now, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
All right, here we go. It is the Gashouse Gang until 1 o'clock every weekday from 12 until 1. We're going to have Mike Claiborne coming in studio in just a little bit. We will talk to Chris May, the athletic director at St. Louis University. Big night tonight for the men's soccer team. They are in the Final Four. They're playing some really good ball. And so it's a big moment for them. First time there since 1997. Also, the men's basketball team was off to a pretty good start. So we'll talk to the AD, Chris May, about that. That's at 12:30. Right now, I got Brendan Schaefer with me from STL Sports Central and the KTGR Big Show. Brendan, what's going on, man? Post winter meetings, you've got a nice glow about you.
I do, a glow. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah. I didn't get a lot of glow from watching the Blues game last night. But maybe things will be better this evening in that rivalry game. Thinking Mizzou basketball, not a lot better. They did win at least, so we'll take that. And we're just kind of waiting for some Cardinals news to happen. I mean, I thought maybe you could see more activity at those winter meetings. It seems like the groundwork is being laid for some transactions, but haven't seen really the next big one since the Sonny Gray deal as of yet.
That's right. Blues Blackhawks tonight, as you mentioned. They are at Enterprise Center, so we'll get a good close-up look at Connor Bedard, he's been pretty good, man. And so the Blackhawks, just a couple of games over 500. The Blues at 11, 14, and 7. And so we'll get into them in a little bit. But as you mentioned, the winter meetings have come and gone. Nothing really happening for the Cardinals. I mean, maybe framework for something down the road has been laid, but it's sort of, I don't think that I expected much going into them. It's always now a surprise if something significant happens, but nobody really made any trades during this past week. You saw some signings, but that's about it, Brendan.
Yeah, Pete Alonso landed with the Orioles. That was probably one of the marquee deals that was signed in free agency. But the Cardinals have all these names that we know are potentially on the trade block, and we hear, Wilson Contreras may be more open-minded to waiving a no-trade clause, so you kind of add his name to the list, which also carries Nolan Arenado. We know Brendan Donovan is an interesting player to a lot of teams. It kind of bugs me when the phrase always seems to be 29 teams should want to have Brendan Donovan on their team. And I think all 30 should. And, the Cardinals would probably be happy to have him come back, but at the same time, they might be trying to maximize some trade value. So I don't know. It just seems like there are a lot of irons in the fire to where something could happen soon. It's just hard to probably speculate on which thing might be the closest to coming to fruition.
Well, obviously, if they could do everything in order, they would make the move for Arenado and find a good landing spot for him. But he's probably going to end up being the most difficult piece to move unless they just say, all right, you can have him. You don't have to give up much for him. And then this is nothing against him. It's just you have to look at what the value is to other teams and how they view him. And they're going to look at the contract. They're going to look at that salary. They're going to look at the decline in production, though he does still play pretty good defense. That part is still there. There are other third basemen who are likely more attractive to other competing teams. So the value that Arenado's got in the moment, it's not great. And so you just, and it's nothing against him. It's nothing against the career he's had because he's had a Hall of Fame career. It's just a matter of what the value is right now. So it's going to be difficult to make that move. So if we're looking at what the offseason is going to be, and if people are thinking, why is he still here? How come they haven't made this trade? That's going to be probably the toughest piece to move of all of them.
Yeah, and he feels like maybe from the perspective of the other teams that he could be more of a, let's circle back type of candidate, right? After you pursue, last year it was Alex Bregman. Now he's back on the market at the same position. There also could be a little bit of overlap there with the Brendan Donovan stuff. Like if a team would be willing to play him at the hot corner, is it a case where teams are going to try to swing a little bit higher on the production radar before they then come back and say, okay, we think the Cardinals are probably willing to eat some cash here. We know Arenado's pedigree and his defense is still pretty good. Maybe we get a little bit more out of the bat, change of scenery. We'll circle back to him, but we don't want to pay all of his salary. Like, it feels like that is one of the things that could happen more toward the end. So maybe it would be encouraging if the Cardinals can cross off some other items on their list before, I don't know, like the Christmas holiday always seems to be kind of another break in the action. And then you get through the holidays, and then you're starting to think about winter warm-up, and suddenly you're closer to having your roster together. So I feel like it could be an active couple of weeks, but it really, I don't know which thing would be the first to happen. I just agree with you on the Arenado front that feels like that would come later as teams kind of come to grips with, okay, we didn't get A, B, or C, but maybe option number D, letter D, would be Arenado, and the Cardinals might be willing to eat the cash to make it work for us.
And the most intriguing name is Wilson Contreras because he is locked up for a bit. They could keep him around. He's a veteran presence. He's been a pretty productive player for them. And if they move him, I think that's the indication that even though they're talking about, and the word Chaim Bloom used the other day was urgency, that I think they're looking to rebuild this thing fairly quickly. I think that could be difficult to do. And if you move somebody like him, I think that's a signal that they are not necessarily expecting to be good anytime soon. Because if they were, that's probably a guy you want to keep around. So that to me would be a pretty good indication that, yeah, all right, we know that we are really fully in a rebuild here.
Yeah, and I think that would also reinforce like the desire to maybe trade a Brendan Donovan as well, where you say, he's got a couple of years before free agency, kind of lines up with where Contreras is at.
Yeah.
Those are two guys with real trade value. Arenado is more, it's maybe the best thing for him to end up on a contender and playing somewhere else. The Cardinals can open up third base for, whether that's Weatherholt or Gorman or however they want to approach it. Yeah, I would think that would be an indicator. And, I think that's okay because you would look at the players that would be left behind, especially if in these trades, Chris, they're able to get some more pitching and just throw a bunch of arms at the problem when you get to February in Jupiter, Florida, and just say, hey, we've got 8 guys, and if 5 of them emerge/stay healthy, maybe that's your foundation, and you see where you're at in 2026, and if that's 70 wins, then it's 70 wins, but that'll kind of give you the benchmark for maybe how long the rebuild could take.
Yeah, so that's okay. Yesterday sort of went through the Cubs and what they did. So they lost between 70 and 60, or they won between 70 and 60 games for a couple of years before they hire Theo Epstein to come in, and his job was to tear it down and start over. He did that in 2012, or at least that's when he got in, before the 2012 season. It was 3 years later, they go, something like 70 wins, 66 wins, 70 wins, in that range. Then they win 97 in 2015. Then the following year, they win the World Series.
Yeah.
So, it did take 3 years before they became a real contending team again. And then it was 2 years after that, or a year after that, when they were a World Series winner. So, if we're looking at that as a guide mark, it could be a couple of years past this upcoming year that the Cardinals are truly competitive again if they are following that same sort of path. Now, I know that it's not all linear. It's not all going to look the same for every organization, but I think that's a good marker to look at.
Yeah, unfortunately, it could be, right? Because a lot of Cardinals fans might hear that and think, well, gosh,
Brendan, maybe it happens quicker, but I think you got to look at this pragmatically. Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah. And the way that it would happen quicker, right, would be, okay, you already have made a couple of draft selections on guys that are on the way up. You've got a couple of core pieces, I think, right now on your roster, Chris, to where if you go a couple of years and it's more on the lean side, but you're then getting to where, okay, Mason Wynn, is he somebody that you contract extend long-term so that you think you're close enough to where you don't have to keep trading away your good players before they're free agent eligible? You lock up a Mason Wynn, and maybe an Alec Burleson after a Contreras trade shifts to first base and becomes a guy that is a slugger in the middle of your lineup that you think, yeah, let's keep him around long-term. You start mixing in Quinn Matthews, Liam Doyle, some of these prospects, J.J. Weatherholt on the position player side. So, like, if you've got a core of 5 or 6 guys that reveal themselves to be legit over the next couple of years as this is all happening, and you're probably in the draft lottery a couple of times as well to continue adding pieces, then maybe that, like, year 3, 26, 27, maybe 28 is where now ownership says, okay, we've got enough of a core to where we're going to start to tick back up when it comes to free agent spending and going out and getting some of these ancillary pieces that we might not have in-house, so we've got to pay for them if we're going to try to accelerate this timeline. I think that's a realistic way that this could go as well, that some of the pieces they already have that are young talents could end up expediting this process by becoming all-star caliber players before our eyes the next couple of years.
Yeah, and Samuel is watching on YouTube and says not all rebuilds take 5 years. And I use the Cubs as an example. That didn't take 5 years. It was 5 years into the rebuild they won the World Series. So they were no longer rebuilding then. It was 3 years, of
really
getting back to, they had the 3 years of down baseball. Once Theo took over, and then in that 4th year, they won 97 games and went to an LCS. So, I mean, it didn't take 5 years for them. It just happened to be that in year 5, they won the World Series. So
that's pretty good timing, too. I mean, you get pretty quick turnaround. You can't guarantee one. That's the problem, though, is like not all rebuilds take 5 years. Not all rebuilds see the light at the end of the tunnel.
That's
ultimately.
right.
Like ask the White Sox, ask the Pirates over the years. It doesn't always work that way. But at least the Cardinals, like you can put this as the line of demarcation and say, hey, this is where it's beginning because they've brought in a regime that they believe in to be able to get it done.
So and that's the thing, the Pirates, they had a rebuild. The problem is they don't supplement their talent. When they put together a good core young group, they don't do anything to help those guys out. It's same way as the Tampa Bay Rays, really. Even though the Rays have had more success, they just have not won the whole thing yet. The difference between them and what the Cubs did is the Cubs, when it was time and they recognized they had a really good team, they invested. They said, all right, now let's go get John Lester. Let's get Jake Arrieta. And then when they were really good in the middle of the season, they traded for a closer they probably didn't even really need. So they went really hard for that World Series. It matters what you do. And in the White Sox case, they just fumbled it. They kind of fumbled it like the Pirates did. They had this great young core. They had a good veteran player. What did they do? Do you go get Bryce Harper? No. You go pick up Adam Eaton to play right field, and that guy stunk. I mean, it's about what you do once you have the core, and that's where the tough job for the Cardinals is going to be. That'll be, all right, we've got this good core now. What are we going to do to help it? Are we going to be aggressive, or are we going to go scrap heap it and hope that we can extract something out of this player who hasn't been all that good in the first place?
That was a deep pull with Adam Eaton that I was not expecting to talk about. I wanted the Cardinals to get him, and then I saw the trade price. He was one of those good defense, StatCast-y kind of guys before StatCast where you thought he can become even more. And then I remember the price the White Sox paid. I mean, they gave multiple starters. I think Giolito was in that deal. Reynaldo Lopez was in that deal, and that really did not go their way.
Yeah, and Eaton not a great teammate. A lot of guys didn't really like him.
Yeah, so that doesn't help. I mean, I would have known that.
You got to be careful with guys like that. So winter meetings are over, and of course, if you have thoughts on the Cardinals, what they did, what you expect, what you want, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You can be listening to this show on the Odyssey app as well. It is the Gashouse Gang, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Brendan Schaefer hanging out with me, Chris Ranji, on KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
1965 was a year of progress in St. Louis.
There when St. Louis celebrated.
It would stand higher than any monument in the land.
What's that? Alarm whistle. I don't know. Steamboat celebrate.
Finally, 32 years after losing
now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RAIN.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
For residential and commercial heating repairs, service, maintenance, or installation, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. With over 50 years of HVAC service, get in your comfort zone this winter. Visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Right now, someone in a Hardee's kitchen is about to warm up your holiday with the new grilled cheese bacon burger. Charbroiled 100% Angus beef, bacon, and Swiss and American cheese melting on our soft, buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. For your inner child and your grown-up cravings, the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardee's. Cinnamon Raisin Biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants.
This is Carol Daniel. I'm so proud to be part of KMOX's 100 years of broadcasting excellence. Congratulations.
Brendan Schaefer in today on the Gashouse Gang. Mike Claiborne now with us. I'm Chris Ranji. We'll talk to Chris May, athletic director at SLU. Big game for the men's soccer team tonight. Yeah, it's the
biggest game they've had in
30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. So they'll play tonight. SLU basketball, the men's team also off to a good start. So we'll cover all that with Chris May. And guys, we talked Cardinals in the first segment. I want to get into some football here because we got the news earlier in the week about Sharon Moore, the Michigan football coach.
Ooh.
I mean, good Lord, he was dismissed by the team and then arrested. And he has been charged with 3 different, these are what the charges are: home invasion in the 3rd degree, stalking, and breaking and entering or entering without breaking. So that's a violation in Michigan and in most states. This is a bad situation, guys. This is a bad situation.
You know, when you think about the Big Ten and the scandals, whether it's Paterno or Harbaugh, this was on the medal stand.
Yeah.
Of maybe most heinous things that can take place. And I don't know how you defend it at this point. Obviously, he's going to have to come up with a defense. I don't think he'll ever coach again at any level. And it's messy. And I don't know where you go from here if you're Michigan, because there was a pretty interesting pool of coaches that you could have hired. And the question is now, do you poach somebody else's coach from a major program? I don't think they're going to go with an assistant. I don't think they're going to go with someone who's never had the job. So they're now probably vetting internally, okay, do we make a run at DeBoer at Alabama? Do we make a run at Brian Kelly? I mean, there's some interesting guys that are out there that could be had.
Yeah, and Michigan's a blue blood, and they're probably going to want a stabilizing guy.
Exactly.
After all this, you have
They're
to.
not bringing in Mike Claiborne or Chris Ranji to take this thing over. They're going to have somebody with some legitimate credentials.
Maybe Brendan.
Yeah, I don't think they're bringing in me, but Claibs, it's interesting that I wonder. A lot of has been said about the timing of this, where folks in the industry have kind of been whispering that like something was coming. And it's possible, did Michigan know about this in advance, but they almost chose the timing because they wanted to say, all right, are we going to beat Ohio State? Are we going to make the playoff? No? Okay. Well, let's get through National Signing Day so we keep our players. And then they end up dropping the hammer and saying, hey, we know about all of this. I really do kind of question some of the timing. But to your point, I think the only reason you would do that and not worry about, well, who are we going to get next, is if you're prepared to throw a bundle of cash at somebody. And, like, if they might think they can get Kalen DeBoer, they might be right. Like, that, I would not be surprised if they end up with a huge hire and a massive salary, because Sharon Moore was kind of just thrown into it after Harbaugh, so they didn't necessarily really get to choose that situation for themselves. So I'll be very curious to see if they end up with a big splash
and,
at the end of the day.
Other thing I think you have to take into account, everybody might go back into the portal. So I
That's
mean,
possible,
you might throw a lot of cash at the coach, but you better have some cash for these players because they don't know this. They don't know who the next coach is going to be, and I just think it's a mess, man, and I don't know how quickly you can recover from something like this.
And, I mean, you better hit a home run on that hire, too.
You better. Yeah, you get
Michigan,
one kick at the can at this.
Yeah, Michigan's a blue blood, too. I mean, we're talking about
the all-time
big-time
winningest program in the history of college football.
So they shouldn't have trouble finding the right person, but they better get it right.
So to Brendan's point, the issue is now, when did you know?
Yeah.
And now that's on the AD. And, Ward Manuel, who's a Michigan guy, is the AD. So you got to follow the breadcrumbs to see when did you know and when did you feel like you had to make this decision. Because, the word we hear now is zero tolerance. So they had no choice. But I think, as Brendan said, the timing is kind of an eyebrow raiser.
A lot of news for Mizzou college football. We do have their schedule for next year.
And
we
you know
about
what?
that.
I think it's a reasonable schedule.
Yeah,
I agree.
Because this schedule this year was not what I call attractive, especially, when you had like the 6 home games and you playing who knows state every weekend. You can't do that. It's for anybody to expect to respect you and what you do. And then when you do step into your conference play, you're not very successful there. So, but when you look at this one, what is it? Arkansas State. Okay, so
Pine Bluff is their first game.
So here's my schedule philosophy. How many non-conference games do you have now? Three or four? Three.
So one of them's Kansas.
One is a regional opponent, so Kansas fits. The other one, it should be a blood donor that you can beat the tar out of. And the third game should be a non-conference game from a comparable conference. So if you finish third place in the SEC, play the third place team in the ACC or the third place team in the Big Ten. That way, your schedule is believable and is credible compared to stacking wins that don't get you anywhere.
Yeah. The problem, though, is now that they're mandating it's a 9-game conference schedule, so that's a change for this coming year. You've already got the teams like a Texas, for example, this year that missed out on the playoff. They go 9-3. They say, well, we scheduled that difficult game. We played at Ohio State and we lost by a touchdown. And you have the question of, were they punished for it by losing close rather than just choosing another blood donor? If they play Ohio instead of Ohio State, you wonder, does Texas's 10-2 get the love from the committee? That's now a question that I think they're having to ask as well.
I would say no. We're in an era now where TV is kind of driving this bus. And they, if Texas was playing Ohio, they're not going to be on TV, okay, on network TV. If they're playing Ohio State, yeah, we're going to watch that one. Mm-hmm. And I think the committee, I think they're all reasonably smart people with regard to knowing what's legit and what isn't. The old adage is, hey, win one more game, we don't even have this discussion. And you don't think they're saying that to Miami, to Notre Dame? Which, by the way, I'm going to run this by you guys. So there's this discussion that they're going to get froze out where teams aren't going to schedule.
Yeah, the ADs are saying that.
Yeah. What do you think?
It won't happen, but I would support
Really?
them joining a conference. I mean, that would be nice to see them play by the same rules as everybody else.
I don't see. Here's the thing. I don't think Notre Dame is the draw that they used to be. And I'll say this: when Notre Dame signed the deal with NBC, everybody said, "Oh man, this is impressive." I got news for you. CBS and ABC can put a game up against Notre Dame any Saturday, and it's going to be better than who's Notre Dame is playing. What would you rather watch? Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Indiana, whomever?
Right. It's interesting you say this because Front Office Sports wrote about this yesterday or the day before, that of the top 20 most watched college football games this season, they were only in one of them.
Yeah. And who were they playing in?
That was
probably Miami.
Was it the Miami?
Probably Miami. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
Those are their two tough games. And looking at their schedule for next year, like part of it is I think they kind of get to pick and choose their schedule. So they're playing the ACC teams that they think they can handle, right? We'll go to Syracuse.
Let's
and
play
Purdue.
Wake Forest. Yeah.
We'll play, but we don't want, they do put Miami because that's kind of the rivalry game. But next year's schedule, I took a look at it, and they only actually play a true road game at Syracuse, at North Carolina, and at Purdue. Everything else is either home or a neutral site. So that's where I come up with it and say they kind of get to pick and choose which games they feel they can handle and schedule thusly to try to make the playoff. And, this time it didn't end up working out for them.
It was the Alabama game. That was their most watched.
Okay.
Yeah. At any rate, so we appreciate having you on, Brendan.
Well, more people were watching because it was Alabama
Probably.
than Notre Dame.
They want those matchups.
Yeah.
I know we all want them, but these schools think that they can get away with it, and then when they don't get in the playoffs, we got jobbed or it's a farce or whatever. No, man, go out and play somebody.
Hey, look, man, I grew up. I liked Notre Dame. There was something about watching them I enjoyed, and it was just now. It's kind of enjoyable watching people hate them because it's like if you're not a Notre Dame fan, you hate Notre Dame. It's not even like I kind of like them. You just hate. There's a lot of hate watching going on.
You may be on to something there.
It's true. I mean, ask somebody how they feel about Notre Dame, and it's either love them or hate them. It's not
agree.
like I don't know. Hey, Brendan Schaefer, the Cardinals writer for STL Sports Central and host at KTGR.
Does a fine job over there.
Fine job.
That's right. That website is like out of sight.
Tell me more
Good
about
stuff, right?
Yeah, phenomenal.
Also host at KTGR. Brendan Schaefer, good to see you, man.
You too, guys. Thank you.
Take care.
Mike Claiborne, Chris Ranji. When we come back on the Gashouse Gang, we'll talk to athletic director at St. Louis University, Chris May. That is next. The Gashouse Gang is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Hey guys, it's Glover. As you know, we have been raising money for Operation Food Search over the past 7 years. Now we have a new way for you to give. Our friends over at Bissinger's Chocolates have created Dave's Faves, a collection of 7 of my favorite truffles. You can get them at Bissinger's. You can also get them online at Bissingers.com. They're $20 a box. There are 7 of my favorite truffles in there, and all the money goes to Operation Food Search. Help us out. Time is running out.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 1 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Save big on everything for your next project now at Menards. Upgrade your bathroom today with our great selection of bath fans. Browen's Roomside series provides powerful ventilation with a quiet performance. They're available in a white or matte black finish. Get a Browen Roomside series bath fan today. On sale for $139.99. Good through December 14th. View our entire selection of Browen bath fans on Menards.com. Plus, check out our weekly flyer for other great deals happening this week.
Warm season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Mostly cloudy, 36 degrees. The high will be 37, a low overnight of 25.
Some folks treat retirement planning like cleaning out the garage. They'll get to it someday. Well, someday comes fast. I'm Gary Goldberg, and for 37 years, I've been helping people get their financial house in order so retirement doesn't feel like a garage sale. At Financial and Tax Strategies, I help you retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Give me a call, 800-966-1690, or visit us at checkwithgary.com. Let's make someday today.
Investment advisory services offered through Centaurus Financial, Inc., an FFC registered investment advisor.
Hi, Debbie Monterey with Gloria Liu, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria, you've been helping families for more than 22 years with your guarantees, your buyers in waiting program, and you were telling me that between now and the end of the year is a good time to sell. Can you share why?
Always good to see you. When it comes to timing, the spring and fall selling season have historically been the most active. However, due to raised home value and affordability, this market still has lots of sellers and buyers on the sidelines. Fact is, between now and year end is a great time to discuss the sale of your home. I have guaranteed sale program solutions for every situation, including instant multiple cash offers, 100% market value, or my trusted guarantee sale program, where I'll sell your home at our agreed upon price, or I will buy it myself.
Sounds like a plan. The time is now. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
This holiday, give the gift that lasts all season long. Cardinals ticket packs are on sale now, starting at 5, 6, and 10 games. All packs include 2026's top games and favorite giveaways. Backed by popular demand, choose from the opening day pack or the bobblehead pack. Check out the Cubs pack, weekend pack, or apparel pack. There's a pack for everyone. Find your perfect gift right now at cardinals.com/tickets.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and the cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. This holiday season, give the gift that lets them feel it for themselves. Opening day at Busch Stadium. It's more than baseball. It's an STL tradition. Opening day tickets are on sale now at cardinals.com/tickets.
This is Ozzie Smith. I'll see you at Busch Stadium.
The St. Louis University men's soccer team is heading to the College Cup, the Final Four of the NCAA tournament. The Pelicans face North Carolina State tonight. Catch all the action live starting at 7 p.m. on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Boy, this is a big night for St. Louis University sports because the men's soccer team is in the Final Four, and they will play tonight, and we are looking forward to watching that. It is one of the biggest games they've had, as Claibs and I have been talking in 30 years about. And to
Easy 30 years.
And to discuss that with us, we've got Chris May, the athletic director at St. Louis University, getting ready for tonight's game. Chris, how you doing?
Doing fantastic. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great, Chris. First of all, what do we know weather-wise and what it looks like tonight as the Billikens hit the pitch?
Well, Claibs, it's perfect Billiken weather because it's starting to sleet a little bit here
yes.
in Raleigh, and it's going to feel a lot like it felt in Akron last week, which our guys roll their sleeves up and just go play. So it could be a little inclement tonight, but we believe that helps us. So our guys we just got off the practice field about an hour ago, and Claibs, you've been around so many teams like this as they're really getting ready for their pinnacle of competition, and it's been so fun to be around this group that are so locked in to Kevin Kalish and his staff, and it's really impressive to see.
I'll tell you this, Kevin Kalish is considered such a gold standard in the sport of soccer, college soccer, and what he's been able to do and bring those kids together. And this is not one of those programs or situations where we have a bunch of guys at 27, 28 years old who hop from one school to another. These are kind of a lot of homegrown kids within the program. And I think that's what makes it fun for me to be able to watch them go out and face another team like they are in the Final Four.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up, Claibs, because a lot of people around the country we've heard from all over the place that are really pulling for us because of exactly what you're talking about. Kevin believes in bringing them in and developing them, and that's what this team is. You're starting 3 freshmen, 2 from St. Louis, and they are fired up about the opportunity. But how connected they are, and And I believe Kevin has done the best job in the country by far this season. He was A-10 coach here. I think he's the national coach of the year. To your point, he doesn't have a bunch of 25 and 26-year-olds, as we've seen several teams we've played with full slates of that. The future is unbelievably bright for this team, but the future right now is tonight, and they are locked in. They just went into their lunch today, and to see their preparation and to see their belief in each other and in Kevin and what he's doing is truly special.
So they're playing in the College Cup tonight against NC State, which is, again, the Final Four in soccer. And in order to get to this point, they had to come from behind to beat Akron over last weekend. They were down 2-0. So which is
a lot.
That's a lot in soccer, Chris.
It's a lot in soccer unless you're this group. This group, if you follow, as people have followed them, they played short in 2 games for 70 minutes. And came from behind in both of those games. They only lost 2 games all year, and that was to Indiana and Akron, who they beat in the tournament. And so this is a group that really keeps playing for a full 90. They won some games late, as you well know, but they just keep playing. They keep playing, and that's to their, Kevin calls it the fighting spirit. Chris, he believes that the fighting spirit's what wins you games, and so that's a lot what they do.
So I'm thinking ahead here just a little bit. When would you play again after you win tonight? And B, what time do you get back to St. Louis? Because you have a big basketball game taking place at Chaffetz as San Francisco rolls into town, and the Billikens kind of owe them something.
Well, the championship game of the College Cup is Monday night, but I'll be home tomorrow morning, and then I'll be back here on Sunday. But we've got a lot moving, but it's all hands on deck. We've got everybody here from the chairman of the board, Englert, our President Fazer's here. We got a huge contingent of Billikens down here. And then we got a big crowd coming tomorrow night against San Francisco. And Mike, you hit it on the head. We owe that team. We didn't play very well out in San Francisco last year. We got a good crowd coming tomorrow night into Chaffetz. And so Josh and his team have had a good week of preparation. And it's a really, really big game. San Francisco got a good team. They beat Mississippi State last weekend in a neutral site game. So there's a lot to be played for with the Billikens tomorrow night in Chaffetz. But first, we got some big work to get done here in Raleigh tonight.
The only loss by the basketball team, and I'm going to get back to soccer in a moment, but since we're on to basketball, the only loss was against Stanford, last second kind of deal.
And he just threw that one up.
Yeah. So, this team has just been playing really well, and we've talked about how well they need to do in their non-conference schedule. Just based on the difficulty of scheduling that we talked to Bob Ramsey about this a ton, that they have to take care of this schedule. So far, it looks pretty good the way they've handled the non-conference.
They've done a great job, and Josh and his staff have really, we got shorted one quad one game when we were supposed to have Santa Clara at home and not play them out in Palm Springs, but nonetheless, our margin for error is very slim because with our non-conference. Fortunately, the Atlantic 10 is significantly better than they've been in recent years, so that's going to help us a little more than in the past. But yet we have to take care of business in the non-conference. Got beat by a very, very tough shot that Stanford hit to beat us out in Palm Springs, but we beat a very, very talented Santa Clara team. And as I spoke with Joe Lenardi, who Lenardi follows it as close as anybody in the country, said, Chris, the Santa Clara win is going to help you way more than the San Francisco loss. The way it happened will hurt you. And so, but our team, that team is focused on the next game. Robbie Avila has really done a nice job. Trey Green has had a great trip to California and really played well last night out. And Quentin Jones has really done well as well. The other piece that our team typically starts playing way better is coming out of finals. And this is finals week this week. They just got all the schoolwork done. So getting that pressure off the shoulders and getting back to playing ball is a huge, huge deal for our guys.
We're visiting with the athletic director at St. Louis University, Chris May, and you've been at this for a long time, Chris. How much of a challenge is it now when it comes to scheduling compared to when you first got in this business?
Well, it's a bear, Claves. It's not easy, but I think what we're feeling already is that with a team like Josh is building, we're having more opportunities in another year for next year because people saw us as total risk before right now. And we had the same thing you and I talked about it back with Rick. And then once Rick developed and we got a little better, all of a sudden Washington would play us in a home and home. And we could get some decent games. But it's really hard when you're in no man's land, when you're a name that people think it's all risk to play. But as you get better and better, even though the Power Fours are trying to squeeze everybody out, as you get better and better, you can get games. And so I think that'll continue to improve and help us. But it's not for the faint of heart. But at the end of the day, you got to go play and you got to go deliver. And Josh, the way he coaches and his analytics around what we're doing, that's why we're 28 in the net today. And so if you'd have told me on December 12th you're going to be 28 in the net, Chris, I would have taken it all summer long.
Yeah, because and you would think, Chris, that because of things like the net and the fact that just in general, the people who cover the sport have a better understanding of mid-majors, if you like that title or not. They have a better understanding of how good they actually are, that it shouldn't hurt to play a team like SLU one way or the other. You know what I mean? For a bigger conference.
No, you're right, Chris. But the better you get, the less risk it is.
Obviously, yeah.
And so that's why, we were in no man's land for a little bit, but as we continue and people are starting to give us give Josh some credit and give him some love. And so I think there's going to be more and more teams willing to play us. I mean, the team in our league has really done a nice job. Dayton has done a good job of scheduling because they built that brand and people feel like it's not a huge risk.
Yeah. Well,
we're going to be in the same place or better real soon, and that's going to help us from the scheduling perspective. But at the end of the day, we got to get ready for San Francisco tomorrow night. It's a good game to play, and we owe them one from last year where we did not play well, and it hurt us.
7 o'clock at Chaffetz Arena. That'll be tomorrow against San Francisco, so that is a big game. But again, tonight, really big for St. Louis soccer in that Final Four. The championship game, if they get there, will be on Monday night. Just real quick as we say goodbye, what does this run by the program, the soccer program, do for the department as a whole?
Oh, it's brought huge energy into the program. You ask Josh, you ask Rebecca, you ask Katie Shields. It's helping her recruiting. It has been a massive bolt of energy into the program across the board. And everybody in the building's got a little pop and a little jump about it. And so that has been just fantastic for our whole program and for our university. And I think Bill McDermott said it best. He said, you talk about our history and our tradition. He had this great quote. He said, tradition doesn't graduate. And our kids are playing off that legacy that's been, but they're making their own legacy right now. We couldn't be more proud of them, and we're fired up for tonight.
All right, good luck
tonight.
Good
luck tonight, Chris.
Hey, thank you, guys. We appreciate you.
All right. Good luck tonight and tomorrow, and hopefully on Monday, too. So we appreciate you, Chris.
Thank you.
That is Chris May, athletic director at St. Louis University. Again, that Final Four, the College Cup, is tonight.
Everybody talks about this Billiken tradition. We won more Final Fours, won more championships. Yeah, that was in the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay? The guys who are on that team have grandkids, if not great-grandkids by now. So let's turn that page and just lock in on what's about to happen this weekend. And hopefully Monday night we'll be doing this again.
Last time they did this, 1997, they were in the College Cup. So it has been some time. Mike Claiborne, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Well, if you haven't heard, and you should know by now, Missouri, FanDuel Sportsbook is operating in the Show Me State.
Is that actually going on?
You haven't heard yet?
Well, I've been in the cave.
Yeah, it's been going on, man, since December 1st.
Wow.
And FanDuel is kicking things off with an offer that's tough to beat. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. So whatever it is, football, basketball, soccer even, you can do it all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. So download the FanDuel app now. Go to FanDuel.com/Missouri and get in on the excitement because it is time to play your game with FanDuel. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people. We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. The Brennans love celebrating the holidays at home. There has never been a better time to move up to McKelvey with our Home for the Holidays sale. This is your last chance to save big at the Preserve in Afton with savings of $25,000 plus $10,000 cash at closing and special financing on all of the 4 remaining homes, including our luxurious Turnberry display. The Preserve is truly special with lakes, trails, and an abundance of wood and common ground. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Once again this year, Christmas meets the Beatles. You're invited to Let It Be Christmas, a rock opera that tells the Christmas story entirely with classic Beatles songs. It's a St. Louis holiday tradition now in its 16th season. Yes, here comes the fun. Performances are December 21 and 22 at the beautiful Kirkwood Performing Arts Center. Let It Be Christmas, the gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Paul, George, and Ringo. Tickets available now at MetroTix or the K-Pack box office.
KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra and their monumental tour, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, to Enterprise Center December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. TSO, timeless and everlasting. Don't miss the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Lost Christmas Eve, produced by Live Nation. For more details, KMOX.com/events.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Our family's called the Saliga family for 18 years, and we are grateful for Saliga's honesty, knowledge, and professionalism. They're the best. For more info, visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Just a few more moments to go with Mike Claiborne and Chris Ranji before the Dave Glover Show takes over. And this week, we learned of the new Hall of Fame class. The St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame was announced. And the following people, or at least we'll go through some of them. February 4th, so that's coming up in a couple of months. These folks will be inducted into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame at the Missouri Athletic Club. The DeWitt family, Mike Claiborne, Bill Sr., and Bill III, Claibs. These guys are going in.
They weren't in before now.
Yeah, Bill Jr. was inducted 12 years ago. So the rest of the DeWitt family is going in. Pat Maroon, the Stanley Cup, the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion with the Blues.
Game winner to get the Blues to the finals.
That's right. And the Tampa Bay Lightning. Layla Anderson, who was a big part of that Blues Cup run. Layla was...
Great inspiration.
Yeah, she was great during that time period. And Todd Worrell.
Boy, I'll tell you, in the long list of great closers the Cardinals have had over the years, boy, Todd Worrell When he came up in 85, he was unhittable.
Yeah,
he was something.
Mike Jones, who is
the tackle,
hugely responsible.
Nothing else to be said after
right?
that. The tackle.
I mean,
yeah.
If that's the only thing you ever do in your entire career is make
that's
that tackle,
enough. Exactly.
That is 100% true. Al Joyner, the Olympian, is going in.
Al, outstanding. I mean, what a great family. He and his sister Jackie. I mean, they have a whole closet full of medals. I mean, and Al's doing a great job in coaching. I think he's coaching Vince Coleman's kid right now, as far as track is concerned.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's interesting. Bob Ramsey, your good
the
buddy.
Rammer.
Yep, he's going in.
Known him for over 40 years. My best friend. Long overdue. When you think about everything he's done in his career, including St. Louis U, and you mentioned the Hummers, the softball, women's softball team.
they're
he was
going
doing their
too.
games. So I mean, there's nothing he hasn't done, and for them to finally recognize him, I'm tickled pink for it.
My first introduction to you was 90s, I guess, hosting with Bob Ramsey.
Really raucous era of sports broadcasting.
That was my introduction to sports talk.
We were only the second station in the country that had all sports. WFAN in New York and St. Louis was starting KASP and they eventually evolving into KFNS.
Rammer's great. He's with us every Monday, you know.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, he talks to us at 12:30. We talk.
Billiken Bob, as we call him.
That's right.
Do I have time to tell you a real quick story?
Yeah.
So he and I are doing the games, and Billikens are playing in the NIT finals, semifinals. At the time, Anthony Bonner was on the Billiken team.
Oh, yeah.
And so these NBA scouts are there watching him. And so the team was a little short on practice players. So Rammer and I would be in practice. And so Rich Grauer, God bless him, he comes over to us, and we're working our butts off trying to keep up with these 22-year-old kids. And Rich comes over, he said, hey, those NBA scouts were asking about you guys. And so we were like, really? And so he said, yeah. He said, Rich, where'd you get those two guys from? They're the worst players we've ever seen. We were trying, though, man. We were putting effort in that day. I will never forget that. You talk about bubble bursted.
Wow. Oh, the scouts are asking
and
about
he
me.
set us up so, hey,
That's
those
good.
scouts are asking about you guys.
That's really good stuff, man. All right. Well, I guess that's it for us, man.
All right.
Congratulations to Rammer. We'll talk to him on Monday. We'll talk
Hall of
about the
Famer,
Billikens.
Bob Ramsey.
Hopefully talking about a win over San Francisco tomorrow. Tonight, big game, SLU soccer. Best of luck to the men's soccer Billikens. They are playing in the Final Four. Hopefully on Monday, we'll be talking about getting ready for the championship game Monday night. Mike Claiborne, my guy.
All right,
Appreciate
my
it.
friend. We'll
Good to see you.
soon.
Mike
All right.
Claiborne, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang. If you missed anything, it's on the Odyssey app, iHeart app, or wherever you get your podcasts. But the Dave Glover Show is next on 104.1 FM KMOX.